Welcome back, everybody. I am now going to teach you a very mini lesson about how to find circumference, okay? So the goal is to learn how to find circumference, and it is spelt there because it's definitely a mouthful and definitely a little challenging to say, okay? So I'm going to start again with usual number 1. I'm going to make myself a nice circle. Once again, you can feel free to make it as big or as small as you want. Okay, so we have a circle. I am going to test your prior knowledge. Hopefully you watched my last video. If you did not, please subscribe and watch it and let me know what you think. I'm always up for suggestions. So I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to tell you that it is 5 inches. Okay, now without saying anything else, or without telling you anything else, or drawing anything else, I will tell you that you will be able to find circumference just from this little circle with this one little piece of information. And that's what I love about math. It's like life, because you can take one thing, one set of knowledge, one piece of skill, and build on it to learn and find other things, okay? So happy circumference finding. Let's take it a whirl. Right here, if I asked you, is this a radius or is this a diameter? If you watched my last video, I truly hope that you know the answer. If you don't, then you need to definitely go watch it. But those of you who are saying that this is the radius because it is the distance through half of the circle, you are correct. So I like to just make some notes over here on the side. I also know that some people are very visual learners, which means they need to see the information directly in front of them. So I'm here to help all different types of learners with all strengths and all different needs. So the radius in this problem, without doing any math, they gave us the information, but we needed the knowledge to know that it's halfway through the circle. So our radius in this problem is 5. I can then go one step further. Like I was saying, it builds and builds, which is a wonderful thing. We always want to build in life. So then I could go forward and ask you, well, good friend, if that is the diameter, if that is the radius, I'm getting ahead of myself, what would the diameter be? Okay? Those of you who are saying 2.5, your thought process was in the right direction, but unfortunately it's incorrect. And like I said, life is all about making mistakes and learning from them. So if you said the diameter was 2.5, you accidentally divided or took half of 5. You actually need to do the opposite in this situation. So the radius, we already determined, and I wrote it over here, is halfway through the circle, 5 inches. So diameter is the full length through the entire center of the circle. So then my diameter here, 5 plus another 5, would give me a diameter of, you got it, 10 inches. If some of you out there said I didn't add, I multiplied by 2, well then kudos to you, because that works as well. That's the great thing about math. You can use whatever way suits you best, okay? Now, we have our radius, 5 inches. We have our diameter, 10 inches. Circumference. The formula that you need to figure out circumference is circumference equals pi times diameter. Some people would ask me, or some students, whoever's trying to learn, would say, how do you know that these two are being times or multiplied? And whether you're 7 years old or 70 years old, math does not change, okay? So when variables, which are letters or numbers, are next to or touching each other in math, that automatically tells you as the reader that they are being multiplied, okay? So, for the purpose of Colorado State Standards and for the purpose of 7th grade math, I am going to tell you that for pi, we are going to use 3.14. If you have a TI-84 graphing calculator, then you can actually use the pi button. But to save purposes for this lesson and for your sanity, if you're starting off fresh, we are going to say that pi equals 3.14 for this lesson. And obviously pi goes on for infinity, but we're going to terminate it just for this mini lesson. So underneath pi, we are going to substitute or plug in 3.14 Okay, now we need to substitute in for the diameter. So be careful here because you don't want to put in the radius by accident. The diameter, which is the distance through the whole circle through the center, in this case was 10. So now we are going to substitute or plug in 10 for the diameter. Now, once again, these parentheses indicate that it is multiplication. And whether I have them there or not, you as the reader of this math problem need to have that prior knowledge that if they're touching, they're being multiplied. Okay? So you can either use your calculator or ask Siri or use your noggin like old school. Okay? So 3.14 times 10 gives us a circumference of this circle of 31.4. And it is inches. So inches